All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So, in some ways, I might be insulting the Palantir and SoundHound holders by including AMC. Clearly, it's not an AI stock, but I really think there's so much to be learned on this single AMC day, that single candle, the news, the earnings, like AMC had a really interesting day today. And really, it's been pretty interesting since the 6th. And I think that was kind of one of the last days that I covered this stock before this video. So I really want to I can't stress how like, this is definitely a put in your back pocket like segment for sure. All right. With Palantir and SoundHound, my almost entire focus is going to be the indices. All right. You hear me say it all the time. When the NASDAQ's doing bad, it's hard for tech stocks to do well. Clearly, the NASDAQ's been doing very well the last, week or so, right? I think today was an important day on the NASDAQ, and it's going to have a ripple effect pending on how it goes. All right. And I'll talk about all that more, right? But I do think those two stocks specifically have a little bit less to do with themselves and more the NASDAQ. Excuse me. Oh, that's a burp. I'm so sorry. The NASDAQ surroundings. I think that's the word I'm looking for. All right. But hey, before I go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that you see me draw. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can help me share the video. I'm actually not that good at that, all right? But let's get into it. And AMC, listen, this is a knowledge center video right here, especially on this AMC moment, all right? There's a lot that happened here. There are, I think, some subtle things that I don't know, I don't really watch any other YouTube videos in all honesty, right? But I think there are some subtle things that I might talk about that I'm not really sure if others do. I would love to know if any others do, actually, because I might start watching those people. But the first thing I want to start with is the offering, okay? I have said this on so many different tickers. I don't care what the ticker is. I don't think an offering is a bad thing. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. An offering is not always a bad thing. Okay, a reverse split is always a bad thing. Always. All right. An offering is actually a decent thing for a company, all right? Look, I'm a swing trader, right? Like, my goal is to bank profits. When you're a company, the way you bank money is by doing an offering, all right? And ultimately, it's the market's reaction to the offering that matters more than the offering itself. All right. Believe it. You're going to hear me say it all the time. Like, our personal opinions really don't matter that much. What matters is the cumulative opinion of the 63 million shares that traded today. All right. And I'll be honest with you. I'm seeing more decent good than I am seeing horrible bad. Okay. Now, obviously, yesterday, we were up here at $10.09, that green number on the very top of the box, okay? Then all of a sudden we opened down here. We opened down here at $8.19. That's not good, okay? I'm not pretending that that's good. I'm not pretending that gapping below moving averages is good. You always hear me say below all 5 moving averages. Break all 5 up and you fly, lose all 5 down and you die, right? Like, generally, this would be incredibly horrible, right? The one positive that I see that actually kind of supersedes some things. And again, I'm not necessarily saying this in terms of like a long-term bullish thing, but just hear me out and then I'll go deeper in my thoughts. Like I said, this opens down here at 819, right? You can see it in the box over there, open second line. The day actually goes all the way up, all the way up, all the way up to $8.70. It's not quite plus 10%, but more people actually made a near double-digit day than they actually lost. All right. To me, when you can open down here and close up here, that's what this day was. This day opens down here at 925 and it closes up like that's good. Right? This is why we have multiple candles on our thing. There is a difference between horribly bad and, you know what, a good bad, right? Like, hey, it was a good bad, right? Like, there are some silly examples in my head of how I would describe good bad, but not all bad things are equally the same. Right? Hey, it's really, really, really bad if you break your ACL or you tear it or whatever. I'm obviously not a doctor, right? But like, yeah, some crazy injury is bad as opposed to a hangnail, right? Like those are annoying. Those sometimes suck a lot. But yeah, obviously that one is bad and one is all right bad, right? So in my head, that's how these candles play. Like the fact that we open down here compared to closing there, horrible. The fact that we opened down here, but actually almost made a 10% run all the way up to $8.70, that's something. That's not, I'll be honest, I'm not immediately thinking we're going to die below 770. I'm actually wondering if we're going to climb back up to maybe $9. I don't know if we'll break that 919. We obviously wicked it today, right? I kind of think we might even wick it again. Overall, where are we compared to this? Oh, that's where it closed. That's 50% of this candle. Where's this? That's the 50. That's what we wicked. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. I'm not sure if we can make it to this. I think that 960 might be a little aggressive. I think today's positivity from 822 to here will give this another decent candle. Dude, maybe we'll try to wick 994. And I'll be honest, you know what I'm actually thinking about right now is NVOS. All right. NVOS, the day of the reverse split, was actually a green day. It actually, like today on AMC, opens down here at 122, goes all the way up to 150, and then, hey, lo and behold, it's not a beautiful candle, and clearly we never get over the 200, right? But we do a really nice run the day after all the way to here, right? And it's because of this strength. That's if you watched the video, I mentioned that. I think today's strength is kind of making me think we're going to do the same. Dude, I would be shocked. I would, but I'll at least throw out a maybe wick of 1020. I think a maybe wick of 950 to 970 is probably a little more realistic, but that's my and look, we're going down after hours right now, all right? And again, I do believe like from the earnings headlines themselves, the earnings weren't bad. Like they actually weren't, you know? It's this offering that got mixed in and a weird reaction to it. I was bullish not that long ago when I was saying a $13 target at around 10 bucks, right? That's a 30% pop. It's hard for me to give a prediction here. Again, I don't think we're immediately heading down to all-time lows, even though that's not a good RSI, even though it's still a negative MACD, even though that's a big, bad red candle. I'm curious to see how the moving averages react. What's the date today? Today's Thursday. Ooh, there's only one more day left in the week. Okay, I will for sure cover this early next week to see how it reacts to the moving averages. But yeah, I'm actually, like I said, I see more positive than I am focusing on this negative 13 day, let alone the gap down all the way here, right? Or the fall, but like I'm giving this candle a little bit of extra credit. I don't know if I'm wrong, but yeah, that's at least kind of driving what would otherwise be a very, very, very negative video on a stock. Because if you watch my videos, you should know my rules, right? But yeah, I'm curious to see how this one actually plays out. Did we look at the weekly? Weekly's under the 8. Not the best of things. We were obviously kind of doing a nice little job. This nice candle right here was also getting me excited about running to 13, right? Oh, that's sad. Yeah, again, I'm gonna hold my thoughts. I am actually. AMC, let me know if you agree or disagree. Otherwise, let's come into SoundHound next, all right? Hey, if you can please subscribe and share the video, I'd very much appreciate it. Also, don't be offended that AMC was on the front. It was actually a really interesting knowledge center video, more than just like a normal AMC thing, all right? But let's get into SoundHound. So obviously there's a few things going on with SoundHound. They released their news today and all that sort of stuff. But I really don't want to even start on this chart, all right? Well, I guess I'll really quickly be like, look, on the 30th, the up started, all right? Just remember that. Where I really want to focus, NASDAQ composite, is this. This is the NASDAQ composite index, okay? On the 30th, we make our recovery basically at the 200 moving average. You can see I made a golden line. This was actually the newest line that I drew on the NASDAQ since I think back in June of last year. That's why this one's gold. And I have other like higher ones that are like gold. That's like different gold. Nonetheless, on the 30th, we start the NASDAQ climb. If just in case you forgot, on the 30th, we start the SoundHound climb. Okay, when the NASDAQ does well, so will individual tech stocks specifically. All right, NASDAQ's all about the tech. NASDAQ had a really interesting go from the 50 to the 100 because look, we break it, we doji, we break it, we doji. All right, in some ways, we actually never confirm the 50 break. Because we break it, doji never counts. Yes, that's obviously a really good candle, but we now get mixed to breaking the 100, and now we got to confirm this. Doji never counts, so this never confirms this. This is too far to, not too far, but this is unable to confirm it because it's now done its own break, right? So that was a little funkiness of its own, okay? Unfortunately, today's day after the doji, I think, was very telling. I think NASDAQ is really signaling a reason to come down a little bit more. I'm trying to do some math in my head right now. It looks like a little bit more than 1%, maybe 2-ish% if I'm doing my math right. But if this doesn't hold, that's where we're coming down to. I don't know if we're going to come that low. Maybe, right? Maybe this will save us roughly half of that, around 13.3 we can call it. Let's just round to 13.3. But yeah, that would be a little bit more than a $200 drop, right? Which is a little bit more than a percent, because the percent's what, 135, right? So yeah, if NASDAQ is gonna make its way back down, that's going to happen with SoundHound, all right? And today's candle kind of makes me believe that that's what drove SoundHound down. I was looking for headlines that were bad, and I really didn't see very many. Let me know if any of you actually heard the earnings and like have your own opinions, because you know I don't really listen to them, right? I just kind of see the reactions to the lines. I'm seeing more bad than good, and a lot of it I think might be blinded because of that NASDAQ chart I just showed, but look, all I'm really seeing is this continual fail with the 20 moving average, right? We get over it, can't confirm. Stay over it, can't confirm. Kind of seeming like we're heading back down. Yeah, that's a golden cross right there. When a small one goes above a big one, that's called a golden cross. I don't think this is much of a golden cross because, hey, this one was what, like, where was it? This was one too, right? Like it's on it, then it goes over, it clearly goes back under, right? So I'm not going to get too excited over that golden cross by any means, all right? And again, what I'm really, damn, I did that again. What I'm really worried about is NASDAQ and really the simultaneous S&P 500. Right? Like this one's almost kind of saying, hey, I'm already ready to lose the 50 and probably going to be heading down here. Maybe your line is my line, right? But my halfway in between line will hold kind of the same things we thought about NASDAQ. But yeah, I think there's reasons to be worried about the indices. I actually believe if SoundHound gave the best earnings it ever could have, and we saw today's NASDAQ and S&P 500 movement, we still would not have seen a great day. To me, a stock needs to do well and the indices need to do well, all right? So again, I don't have too many opinions specifically on SoundHound. The main one to easily talk about is the 50. This view alone, we literally haven't even touched it. When was the last time we touched it? Damn, that was the last touch, and it was a very bad loss. It was back in late July. And okay, all right, that's a nice little bounce. Yeah, late July, that's the only thing we'll talk about. But yeah, the 50 moving average has been a hard difficulty. It has. And that's a lot of the reason where that $2 line came from. If you remember, right, I kind of kept saying, don't get in until we get over 2 and break the 50, right? Like, it's got to break the 50 still. I think maybe 195, 196 could be justifiable, 197. I need the stock to make me believe I'm going to get away from the 50 moving average. And again, I think with the NASDAQ falling and the S&P falling, it's a little hard to believe that that's going to happen and hold. We are under the 8 moving average. There are no other moving averages. It is actually only these 3. So we are unfortunately under all moving averages on the weekly. That's never a good thing, right? We're not under all of them on the daily, but yeah, we can't go below that. Cannot fall into $1.70 tomorrow. And damn, I'm already seeing the after hours drop well below that. Never a good thing. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, please. But again, I think the problem is it's actually less to do with SoundHound and more to do with the NASDAQ and tech environment that we're living in. All right. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, let's take a look at PLTR. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe and share, I would very much appreciate it. I'm not going to repeat too much of it because a lot of it is actually what I said with SoundHound, but there was a lot of good here. There really was. There was a beautiful gap up. There was a nice run to these moving averages. There was, come on, let me zoom out, baby. There was actually reason to believe we were going to break this 925 and essentially run well past 20 bucks into 22. Like green, red, green, green, red, red. It should have been a real quick green. But man, we never got over the line, and that's incredibly frustrating. Especially with that doji right there. I was expecting it to happen on Wednesday. It clearly didn't. The worst part is today actually confirmed its way down. It actually kind of seems like we're coming down to 17 here. And again, if you fast forwarded, the issue for me is less about Palantir specifically and more, the NASDAQ made a beautiful, let me look at that. Palantir. From the 30th, it made its way up beautifully. All right. NASDAQ on the 30th, it starts its recovery beautifully up. It seems like this is where it's going to be heading back down. And this kind of makes me think it's going to come in the 50. Worst case, maybe even like 13.3, if not all the way down to the 20 at 13.2. My issue actually is SPX, the S&P 500, is already at the 50, seemingly going to lose that and maybe head down to this, right? So I am more worried about the major surroundings around me than the particular stocks that I'm covering here. If the NASDAQ's struggling, tech can't do that well. That's a simple fact I sincerely believe, right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you.